Janice, give me some of that dating foolishness.
Yes, sir.
The problem is that it's making a mockery of a very sacred thing. I think if you want to celebrate yourself, that's great. I just think there are other ways to do it.
Yeah.
That's not your business.
She spent $4,000 to marry herself. Dr. Phil Show exposes female selfish nature. Where are the men? Welcome to Management Highlights Daily. Shout out to Patreon supporter Mr. Shaw. Janice, read his message.
Today I saw a segment on Dr. Phil about self-marriage. Of course it's a bunch of leftover women promoting this as healthy. I've never heard of self-marriage before, but it sounds like it might fit with your content.
It most definitely does. Thank you for your support. Patreon supporters, salute! We see your messages. Some videos take longer to produce. Some videos don't fit our style. But please keep sending in your requests because we do this for you guys. We have to help each other out because we men, ain't we? If we can help one or two fellas avoid the mistakes that we've made, we're happy. Shit. The link to the video is in the description because we're gonna focus on the things that they are not saying in this video. Unfortunately, we couldn't find the full show because they go into stuff that really highlights how short-sighted women are when they do things like this. But we have enough to work with. Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because we men, ain't we? We men, ain't we?
Why do you need this to commemorate that?
I grew up going to weddings my whole life, and I was taught that they were about love, joy, commitment, you know? So I wanted to show that and share that with my family and my friends.
Did you doubt that in yourself?
Before, I experienced a lot of traumatic things growing up and in my younger days, and so I didn't always have self-love. I didn't always give myself everything that I needed. And I went on this long therapeutic journey. I stopped drinking, stopped having sex, and I said, now it's time. I went to therapy. It's time to marry myself. I have something that I've never had before, and my cup is full.
Okay.
You heard it, guys. She stopped drinking and having sex. Why did she stop doing that all of a sudden? She is 30 years old, and we all know around that age, women come to the realization that having casual sex with Chad and Tyrone might not be as empowering as they thought it would be. Because at the end of the day, you're going home alone. Now watch your screen. Janice, zoom in. Stop it right there. Did you see that, guys? That's a kid she's walking with down the aisle. Let's take it a step further. Now there are two kids. Now before I make my point, I'll show you the other woman that spent $15K to marry herself.
And when you turn 50, you've reached a milestone. I have the business, I have the house, I have the kids. What don't I have? Haven't been married. So I'm gonna commit to myself.
Fellas, did you get it yet? What happened to marry before you carry? Marriage was not a requirement before having children. Apparently, these women never had their children's best interest at heart when they were in the process of making them. We just exposed how Pamela Anderson's actions impacted her children.
I wasn't thinking when I was in Playboy that I was gonna have kids soon and they were gonna grow up and it was gonna be embarrassing for them. But I always thought I'll tell them age appropriate.
She wasn't thinking, especially not long term. And if you study women, you will notice this pattern of short-term thinking, short-term decision making, short-term gratification. It's interesting to see that these women can get pregnant, but they cannot get a ring on their finger. And I'll show you why. Look at your screen. Exhibit 1. The majority of these women are fat. We made a video highlighting that 80% of black women are obese. Guess what? The man that they want is not fat. Tyrone won't marry them, but he will. I told you many times on this channel, Chads and Tyrones don't discriminate. They will smash the whole scale from 1 to 10. Where do you think these unrealistic expectations are coming from? Tyrone is an accomplice. Watch our video, Fat Women Explain Why Dating Sucks. It's mind-boggling. Or the video with Jigglypuff, explaining how easily she sleeps with black men using the Tinder app. Exhibit 2.
My problem is that it's making a mockery of a very sacred thing. I think if you want to celebrate yourself, that's great. I just think there are other ways to do it.
Yeah.
That's not your business.
Just spit it out. Just tell me what you think.
I just think that you're like deeply invested in how people like celebrate themselves, and that's why people are doing it, because I think that self-love allows us to give to our communities. When you have a full cup, you have extra to give. And so I don't think that you can put a limit on how me, you, Dr. Phil celebrates themselves. We didn't spend your money.
Black women carry the stereotype of having a bad attitude. We made a video explaining what that means. And it's about the way you think. You just heard how she thinks, and that is the extension of how she reacts. It's none of your business. You cannot put a limit on how I celebrate myself. I didn't spend your money. There's a reason why we call women agents of chaos. Janice, what is marriage?
Marriage is a legal and social institution in which two individuals form a committed and intimate partnership that is recognized by law and society. It involves a formal union between two people, typically based on love, mutual commitment, and a desire to share their lives together.
Hold up, Janice. You have to be careful with the words and terminology you use because they have meaning. The first sentence says a lot. Two individuals form a committed and intimate partnership that is recognized by law and society. Keywords: recognized by law and society. This is pure gold. I'll come back to this later. Janice, continue.
Marriage can take many different forms and can have different meanings and expectations depending on cultural, religious, and societal contexts. In some societies, marriage is primarily a legal and economic arrangement between families, while in others it is seen as a spiritual and emotional bond between individuals. Marriage typically involves a range of rights and responsibilities, including legal and financial benefits, the sharing of property and resources, mutual support and care, and often the expectation of sexual fidelity. In many cultures, marriage is also associated with the creation of a family unit and the possibility of having children.
You see that culture and society plays an important factor in the definition of marriage. And like I always say, women always tell on themselves. Just ask them the right questions and let them talk long enough. Check this out.
When I listen to you, I just feel like really tense and like kind of afraid.
Drink some water.
And so basically, most people who marry themselves also are interested in being in relationship with other people, whether they marry them or not. So usually these are people who like really are interested in personal growth. They really want to be there for themselves and for others. So yeah, we're not against marriage. I mean, I don't really care either way, but it's something, I think we call it marriage because we know marriage is important.
This is pure gold. Fellas, if marriage was not recognized by society, not recognized by the sisterhood, if it was not important, you would not have these leftover women marry themselves. And it goes deeper than that. You heard what the bald 50-year-old said.
I have the business, I have the house, I have the kids. What I don't have? Haven't been married. So I'm gonna commit to myself.
She has the business, she has the house, she has the kids. These are all of the things that are important to the sisterhood. Recognized by the sisterhood. That's why they want it. And that's why they would rather marry themselves than average bus driver Joe. Because he is not important. He is not recognized by the sisterhood. They will marry Dan, the cleanup man, to clean up the mess. And then it's bon voyage. Do you understand now why women complain about equality when it's about CEO jobs, paying 6 figures a year, but you don't hear them about men cleaning shit to keep the streets clean? Because it's not important to them. It's not recognized by society. Why do you think women are so proud of their degrees? Focus on the information that is consistent. One more thing. She led her rebuttal with, I feel.
When I listen to you, I just feel like really tense and like kind of afraid.
Women associate marriage with a good feeling, the center of attention. This is precisely why women file for the majority of divorces, because they do not value the content and deeper meaning of the things they do. Just the feel. Why can't you just hold a simple ceremony with your friends? No. You have to spend $4K, $15K. I wonder if these females will divorce themselves if they don't keep their vows. Attitude, fellas. Attitude, fellas. It's essential. Now the title also says, where are the men? Check this out.
We're so brave to, stand out there and be like, I adore myself and I'm living on my terms.
Yeah, and Cameron, she shared this with you. She called and talked to you, but what did you think when she broached the subject with you?
Oh, I thought it was beautiful. I love it. I want to go to the extremes of marrying myself because I truly do believe the depression rates are skyrocketing right now because society, especially the younger generation, is being set to believe that they have no power, that they are incomplete without validation and reassurance, whether that's coming from social media or a partner, another person, a group of people, your family. So I truly believe this sets a beautiful example to really put yourself on that pedestal instead. And so I want to go with it. I think it's great.
Women are more susceptible to depression. The record-breaking numbers speak for themselves. And feminism took away the protection men gave women and considered it toxic and controlling, leaving women to fend for themselves. Despite all of the freedom and independence modern women have these days, their happiness keeps declining and they are looking for ways to validate themselves. Get ready for the increase in self-marriage. Once again, where are the men? There are no men on this show. Even though there are enough invisible men on this planet, men are not interested in marrying themselves. But we will opt out. We will go overseas to find a wife. And that's the problem that I have. When men decide to look elsewhere to find what they are looking for, keep the shaming language to yourself. Women already have a problem with passport bros. What do you think is gonna happen if men decide to marry themselves? Ceremony and party included. These men will automatically be labeled selfish misogynist. How dare you value yourself more than a woman? We're making a part 2 because this is deeper than you think.
I'm glad I'm not in a serious relationship right now because I didn't have all the love that I needed to give myself before, and now I'm just pouring into me. One time I was on a date with this guy and I told him that I was married to myself, and he said, I do not want to be in a relationship with someone who is married to themselves. So, he thought I was crazy, and that's okay. Next.
Manosphere, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.